Hello everyone, this is Mohit Singh Katoj. I welcome you all in yet another video lecture of this series Engineering Geology. The topic we are going to cover today is continental drift theory. This is the modern world map which shows all present day countries with their international boundaries. The entire landmass on Earth is divided into 7 continents, which are Australia, Asia, Africa, Europe, North America, South America and Antarctica. But according to some theories, our world map was not always like this. It has evolved throughout time. How was it and how it changed? We will now try to find the answers to these questions. So let us begin with our today's topic, that is continental drift theory. A great scientific revolution in geology happened in the year 1912 when a German meteorologist and polar researcher, Alfred Wegener, proposed the idea of continental drift. The theory proposed that all the continents were once joined together as a single landmass called Pangaea, or the supercontinent, that broke apart and have moved to their present day locations. In this way, we can say that Wegener hypothesized two things. Number one, all the continents once formed a supercontinent known as Pangaea. Number second, all the continents are moving, which means continental drift. But Wegener was not the first person to notice something fishy between South America and Africa. In fact, before Wegener, two persons, namely Francis Bacon, an English philosopher in mid-1600s, and Antonio Pellegrini, a French geographer in 1858, noticed that there is an odd fit between Africa and South America. But views of both these men were rejected by most people from the scientific community. The curious scientific observation of both these men was the motivational reason behind the proposition of Alfred Wegener that the fit between Africa and South America was due to continental drift. So, according to Alfred Wegener, the supercontinent Pangaea looked something like this. The name Pangaea is derived from ancient Greek, where Pan means entire and Gaea means land. As you can see in this figure, the entire landmass of Pangaea is divided into two parts, the northern Laurasia and southern Gondwana. This supercontinent was surrounded by one single super ocean called Panthalassa, which occupied almost 70% of entire Earth's surface. North America and Eurasia were part of Laurasia, while South America, Africa, India, Australia and Antarctica were part of Gondwana. Pangaea was a supercontinent that existed during the late Paleozoic and early Mesozoic eras around 250 million years ago. In contrast to the present Earth and its distribution of continental mass, Pangaea was centered on the equator and surrounded by the superocean Panthalassa, as seen in figure number 1 on the left hand top corner. In figure number 2, we can see that it began to break apart about 150 million years ago into two parts, namely Laurasia and Gondwana. As seen in figure number 3, around 100 million years ago, South America and India separated from Africa, and by following their separate paths, all the continents drifted to their present day locations, which can be seen in figure number 4. In support of his continental drift theory, Wegener provided certain evidences which are as follows. Number 1, fit of the continents. Number 2, similarity of fossils in continents. Number 3, similarity of rock types and ages along the matching coastlines. Number 4, the continuity of geologic features from continent to continent. Number 5, presence of coal seams in Antarctica. Number 6, glacial striations and tillites. We will now see all these evidences one by one in detail. Evidence number 1, fit of the continents. Wegener gave evidence of shelf breakage, that is, edges of certain continents fits together with each other. He gave two examples for this phenomena. Number 1, fit between coastlines of South America and Africa. Number 2, fit between coastlines of North America and Europe. As we can see in figure number 1, how South America and Africa fit together like pieces of a jigsaw puzzle. Similarly, in figure number 2, coastlines of North America and Europe fit together also. Both these points suggested that the continents were once joined together and slowly parted away from each other. This figure also emphasizes on the point that South America's east coast fits like a jigsaw puzzle piece with Africa's west coast. Evidence number 2, similarity of fossils in different continents. Fossils are the traces and remains of organisms that lived in prehistoric times. Here are few examples of such fossils which are found in different continents. Number 1, Mesosaurus. Fossil remains of half-meter long, fresh or brackish water reptile which flourished in early Mesozoic era about 240 million years ago were found along the coastlines of South America and Africa. The distribution of this species was limited to those places only. Number 2, Glossopteris, a fern-like plant which thrives in subpolar conditions. Number 3, fossil remains of Cynognathus, a land reptile approximately 3 meters long that lived during the early Mesozoic era about 230 million years ago. It was a weak swimmer. Number 4, fossil evidence of the early Mesozoic land-dwelling reptile Lystrosaurus. They reproduced by laying eggs on land. In addition, their anatomy suggests that these animals were probably very poor swimmers. By about 300 million years ago, a unique community of plants had evolved known as the European flora. Fossils of these plants are found in Europe and other areas. This figure shows the fossil locations of Mesosaurus on both African as well as South American continents, which are separated thousands of miles apart by a big Atlantic Ocean. This figure shows locations where similar fossil remains of various plants and animals were found. These fossil locations suggest that all these continents were once joined together in somewhat the same manner as shown in this figure. Evidence number 3, similarity of rock types and ages along the matching coastlines. As you can see in this figure, while studying different rock forms, close match between rocks in northwestern coast of Africa and eastern Brazil of South America was found by the scientists. The ages of all these rocks was also found to be similar, between 500 million years old to 2 billion years old. The yellow colored portion in this figure shows the matching ancient rock assemblages in different continents, while dark blue portion represents matching continental shelves. This shows that the type of rock forms in different continents are similar. Evidence number 4, the continuity of geologic features from continent to continent. It was seen that certain mountain ranges line up along the matching coastlines. We can see that the Appalachian Mountains trend northeast along the eastern coast of the US and the western coast of Scandinavia. Also, ranges in Canada matches ranges in Norway and Sweden. These evidences shows that the North American and European mountain ranges once formed a common line. Evidence number 5, presence of coal seams in Antarctica. Coal is a combustible black sedimentary rock formed as rock strata called coal seams. Coal is formed when organic matter such as dead plants and animals decays into peat and is converted into coal by the heat and pressure of deep burial over millions of years. Coal was discovered in South America, Africa, Indian subcontinent, Australia, and even in Antarctica. The presence of coal seams in Antarctica shows that it was once inhabited by a lot of living organisms. Fossils of tropical plants in Antarctica also indicate a warmer, tropical climate at one time, which suggests that Antarctica was once closer to the equator. Evidence number 6. Glacial striations and tillites. Glacial striations occur when glaciers scratch the surface of rock and other things that they float above of. Tillites are the deposits of rock debris left by the glaciers. Tillites of same age were found in South America, Africa, India and Australia. Surfaces with glacial striations are found in the middle of South America and Central Africa, which are now close to the equator. Climatic evidences like glaciers in areas that are now closer to the equator are strong evidences of continental drift theory. These are the actual photographs of glacial striations and tillites which were found on different types of rock surfaces all around the globe. The following figure gives us a representation of how glacial striations and tillites would have formed on all those places around the globe. Notice the arrows of the glaciated area, which indicate the direction of glacial movement based on striations preserved in the bedrocks. These bedrocks shows that glaciers once used to form on Pangaea. Glacial deposits, specifically tillites of same age and structure, are found on many separate continents that would have been together in the continent of Pangaea as shown here in this figure. Wagner's hypothesis based on all these 6 evidences was controversial and widely rejected by the geological scientific community until the 1950s, when numerous discoveries such as paleomagnetism provided strong support for continental drift and thereby a substantial basis for today's model of plate tectonics. The involvement of plate tectonics in Pangaea's separation helps to show how it did not separate all at once, but at different times and in different sequences. We will study the topic plate tectonics in next lecture and will try to understand how continents drifted apart from the supercontinent Pangaea to their present day positions. Until then, have a nice time and study well. Thank you very much.